A friend of mine was having issues with his girlfriend, and I had told him what I think he should do based off of based off of a lot of years and a lot of money of studying social dynamics when it comes to men and women. And so I gave him the advice of just kind of letting things go. Not cutting it off, but basically go and do your purpose. Go and do the things that you want to do. Be the man that you want to be, and don't smother. Don't try and win her back. That was a few days ago, and then today he came to me when I went and saw. Well, I went and saw him, but he came up to me and he said, "Dude, you were absolutely right," and he got to experience what it's like when you have the masculine energy doing what it's supposed to do, because it allows the feminine energy to do what it's supposed to do. And he was happy as a clam, and he was very content in his relationship. However, I asked him, "Do you want to celebrate the victory and I'll come and tell you some other things later? Or do you want to get kicked in the nuts right now?" And he kind of laughed and he said, "Well, yeah, give it to me." And so I gave him some social dynamic advice around some of the other things that he was doing so that he would save heartache later. And it was really interesting to see, because as I'm giving this advice, another guy that's there, who's the owner of the place, he chimes in on certain things that I was saying, anticipating what I was going to say. And these are really advanced social dynamic stuff. And I look at him and I look at my friend and I tell him, "Dude, you don't realize you work for somebody who is a master at social dynamics." The guy that I'm talking to, the owner of this place. And the owner starts laughing and he's like, "Yeah, I've been studying. I went hard in this." He's probably in his early 30s, mid 30s maybe. He said, "I spent about 5 years just 100% personal development, social dynamics, learning how to sell better, learning how to interact with people better." And everything that I was saying, he'd know exactly what I was saying. And got to the point where I literally was like, "Dude," to my friend, "you need to talk to this guy more, because he knows what he's talking about. You have a treasure of a boss with you right now, and who's willing to teach you and mentor you." And my friend was blown away at the stuff that I was saying and the stuff that the owner was saying, and really is going to save him a ton of heartache in the future, but also it'll make him much better in the dating world, in life in general, selling and so on. The reason I bring this up is because social dynamics, understanding how to be more socially confident, is extremely important. It's one of those things that is not taught. And I know I've done videos on this before. To me, it's the most fascinating thing, because when it comes down to it, I know it's difficult, but the money part is not the most difficult part. The money part is one of the easier parts of life once you understand how it works, and it becomes even easier when you are good at social dynamics, because that's how you start building a network of people who want to help you, who want to see you succeed, and who will put you into places where you never would have imagined before. And the thing is, it's not it's not always the top people. A lot of the times, the people who open the doors for you are literally the people who open the doors for you. The janitors, the people who are picking up the trash or cleaning the floors and things like that. That you don't realize are when you're nice to people. When you not just nice. One thing is to be nice, but when you really know how to take an interest in people and know how to be social with people, it goes a heck of a long way in the long run. And so I wanted to talk in this video not just about the story that I shared, but how we are not taught social skills at all up until really college. We're thrown into classrooms with 30 other people, and we're told that the most important thing is to listen to the teacher talk about social studies, about English, about math, about biology, or whatever. And we are told that that is the most important thing, so that way you can go get a job. You can get a good job, you can get a high-paying job, and you can go to college and get an even better job, right? But when you look at the top people in the world, a lot of the times they are the most well-spoken, they are the most socially connected, they are the most socially aware people that you will ever meet. A lot of times when I'm at the gym and I'm talking with people or I see somebody, you almost immediately know that they are socially aware or not. I mean, you really do. A lot of people who are not socially aware will either talk your head off or they won't talk at all. They'll be not confident. I had this at the gym today. I had this one guy. I wanted to compliment his shirt. He had an X-Men shirt, like a classic X-Men shirt on. And I was on one machine. He was at the machine behind me. And I went over to him. He had ear pods in his ears. I went over to him and I pointed at his shirt and I smiled and I said, dude, I love your shirt. But he had his AirPods in and he thought that I wanted his machine. He's like, oh, sorry, man. Sorry. And I said, no, I love your X-Men shirt. And he took his AirPod out and said, your shirt is awesome. And he's all, oh, thanks so much, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. And then he puts his earphones back in. And then that's that. Whereas somebody who's socially aware, who's very in tune with their body, in tune with what's going on around them, is not in their head, doesn't have those fight or flight triggers or things like that, would have known more than likely, there could have been a mistake that I was complimenting his shirt. But even if he didn't know, it would have how things would have generally went with somebody who's socially more adept is at the end of all that, he would have said, oh, thanks, man. What's your name? My name's Dean, or my name's whatever. They would have made more of a connection rather than the kind of immediate shutting off. And don't get me wrong, the guy was super nice. There's a difference between somebody who's like, oh, thanks, man, I don't want to talk to you. There's always going to be people like that. The guy was nice, but you can tell he was like, oh crap, I got to get out of this situation, but super nice and friendly and everything like that. And I used to be that guy. I used to be like that. So that's why I know what it feels like. I know what it is. I used to be that way where I kind of wanted to just get out of this situation because I was not comfortable with myself and my social skills enough to continue the conversation because I didn't want to look stupid or I didn't want to look uncool or things like that. So, in conclusion, just kidding. It might be in conclusion. And so, with this, my stress to you is that one of the best things you can do is invest a lot of time into becoming an expert in social dynamics. It will allow you to make more sales. It'll allow you to have relationships that you want. It'll allow you to have friendships that you want. It'll allow you to connect with people you never thought you would be able to connect with ever. You'll build a social circle of people who want you to succeed. There's about 6 or 7 Starbucks in my general area that I go to every day. And in every single Starbucks, when I walk in, somebody knows me. Some of them I go to more often, and so immediately as I walk in, they'll say, "Hey Dean, what's up?" Some of them I know enough to where they're like, "Oh, hey, good to see you again." Same thing with Sprouts, same thing with Whole Foods, same thing with Coffee Bean. And it's because as I am going to these places, the genuine interest, the genuine conversations, the genuine connections happen. And it's through those genuine connections that sometimes I'll get free coffee, sometimes I'll get free discounts, sometimes I don't ask for them. Sometimes when I go to the different gyms, they're like, "Oh, you don't need to buzz in. Don't even worry about it." Because that trust is there, that relationship is there, the connection is there, and the network is there, because each one of those people is living in their own world and in their own lives, and you never know where they're going to end up. In one of my previous videos, one of the guys that I met at the gym ended up working at one of the other gyms that I go to, and then ended up being my fashion consultant. And now we're doing some fashion stuff together, potentially, where I'm helping him to make more money with it, and I'll end up getting a cut, and he'll end up making more money than he could ever imagine. And that literally came from one conversation at a gym at one point in time that led to a year and a half of different bridges of incidents to get to the point that it is now. This guy does Fashion Week. This guy has connections to the NFL. He just doesn't know how to make money with his connections. That's where I come in. This is the power of being socially cool. And I don't mean cool as in I'm cool, I'm amazing. But socially cool as in I like being around that guy. People like being around me. Not everyone's gonna like you. Some people are literally gonna hate you just because they hate you. I even got a thing on LinkedIn today with some guy who's like a real estate agent that's following me that I don't even know who he is. And he's like, he saw one of my videos on perception. He's like, "Oh, so do you think you want to be perceived as a futurist or just a guy who drives some, what was it, like dumbass, a dressed down guy driving some dumbass car or something like that, some whatever it is?" I'm like, I don't even know you. Like, why do you hate me so much? It is what it is. You're going to have people who literally just don't like you, and that's fine. You don't want them in your life anyway. They're either mean people or they are people who, just need a little loving from somebody else. And maybe when they get loving from somebody else, they'll be nicer to you. Who cares? Who knows? I don't care. I don't know. But your job is to be socially aware of when people like you, when people don't like you, how to respond to people like that. Like, my response to him literally was like, well, what car am I driving? Like, you don't even know what car I'm driving. Like, you literally see the seat. You don't even, do you even know what car I'm driving? And there is yet to be a response, because he probably doesn't even know what car it is. So, because it was like cut off, you can't see any of this right here. Your job is to be socially aware. Aware of when somebody doesn't want to talk to you anymore. Aware when somebody does want to talk to you. Aware when somebody is trying to get your attention. Aware when somebody's wanting you to not get any of your attention. Aware enough to when someone wants to buy from you, to when somebody doesn't want to buy from you. Might give you lip service. Oh yeah, I'm gonna do it. Oh yeah, sounds great. But then isn't gonna follow through, and you can feel it, you know it. So you're not gonna waste more time. The more social you become, the better. The more you invest the time when you're in the gym, rather than listening to music, listen to something that's gonna help you socially. Do breath work exercises. Breathing with Sandy is who I do for breath work on YouTube. He has this 40-minute journey one. It's really good, and it's helped a lot with getting in tune with my body and not being nervous around people. Start taking advantage of the time that you have and the technology that you have to have master classes, to listen to things constantly. It'll make you a more socially dynamic person, somebody that everyone wants to be around, somebody that everyone wants to help be successful.